Hey guys, welcome back to Solo Homesteader channel. I'm back on AllMine Ranch. I know it's been a little while since I posted a video, not because I haven't been filming or shooting footage or have ideas in my head, just haven't really had the time and the motivation to do my nemesis, the video editing process. But I'm back from a trip to San Diego. I went out to Southern California for 8 days. I visited my son, which was a long overdue visit. I got to play dad again for about a week, which is nice. But anyway, I'm back on the ranch and I got a lot of work to do. It's a crisp, cold, 50-degree fall morning. It's gonna be sunny and gorgeous today. Cold front moved in last night. It got windy. I always talk about weather because weather impacts my life so much. But it's basically gonna be sunny and nice, cool, but tolerable until some rain moves in tonight and tomorrow. But I went to Lowe's last night after my work day. It's payday yesterday, so time to, you know, blow through my building materials budget. I bought a lot more tongue and groove pine, and I'm gonna work on the walls of the workshop yet again, a whole nother weekend focused on the workshop. I will film some of that later, but I think this video is just me kind of bringing you up to date, no editing, one full take, and you know, one and done. That's the only way I can get videos out, is if I really stop trying to be a professional YouTuber and make them like super professional. I don't have time for that. I went out to Irvine for a couple days. My son Ryder works as a scare character at Not Scary Farm. It's like a 2-month gig where he roams Not Scary Farm in a mask and outfit and scares the shit out of people. And he's really good at it. He's passionate about it. He takes it seriously. It's kind of his whole world. It's all he really talks about, which can get tiresome for me, but it is nice to see him very passionate about something. And we also, the next night, as if that wasn't intense enough, that was actually a foggy, rainy, cold, damp night at Not Scary Farm. That was the first night I got into Southern California. Then the very next night, we went to the final night of the same type of event, but at Universal Studios in Hollywood. And that was cool. I'd never been to that Universal. It's an amazing property that looks over the Hollywood Hills and the whole valley. Lots of elevation change, escalators that take you way up the mountainside. But they had done that up, and very scary, lots of mazes and lots of characters, and it was packed and it was intense, man. For me, who likes calm and quiet, peaceful desert, to go into a situation with tens of thousands of people with bright flashing lights, music coming at you from every angle, you know, people jumping out and scaring you, it was just a lot. It would be like flashing lights for an epileptic, you know, it can trigger them. It was very triggering, might be too strong of a word, but I really had to a lot of times just close my eyes and kind of put my head down a little bit and just try to tune it out for a few seconds when it got too intense, because it was just too much. It was just sensory overload. And I have some sensory issues. And now that I'm getting older and used to just quiet, going into a highly stimulating environment like that was a challenge. But I got through it. And we had a lot of fun, and I learned from my son everything you could want to possibly know about the history of that whole haunt situation at Universal, and all the characters involved, and all the backstories of all the rides and characters and mazes and themes. So then after that, 2 nights in a row of intense overload at theme parks, I caught a break for a night because it was his mom's birthday, so he spent the night with his evening with his mom. And then the next day I went down to San Diego to Pacific Beach, to my old neighborhood, where we stayed in a hotel for 4 nights in a row, right on the boardwalk, right on the beach. And I did shoot video. I do have one coming out in a few days from that time, but it was just really nice to get some beach time. I didn't actually like lay down a towel and lay on the sand. I walked on the sand and I looked at the beach and watched the waves a lot, but not actual like trying to get into the Pacific. I never actually went to the Pacific Ocean. I didn't need to. It's more of a vibe thing. I just needed to see the waves and hear them and smell the salt and the decaying piles of kelp on the beach, which has a very specific, very pungent odor that I smelled for well over 10 years living in Pacific Beach. So being back in that environment and just being able to take it all in again and mesh with the beach lifestyle and all the people out there enjoying the beach lifestyle was freaking awesome. By the way, Bitcoin is over 90,000. Buy Bitcoin. Enough said. It's going to 1 million for people who haven't figured it out yet. Might take a couple more years, or might take only a couple months. We'll see, but it's going there. So we did 4 days in Pacific Beach. I was walking around, drinking coffee, getting great food. I went to my old haunts, like my favorite taco shop across the street from my old apartment. I showed my son some of the places that I had lived over the years in Pacific Beach, because I had lived in 4 or 5 different apartments around various parts of Pacific Beach. If you know San Diego at all, there's like Pacific Beach, Mission Beach, Ocean Beach, etc. We were kind of right at the transition from Pacific to Mission Beach. And it was pricey. Everything was so damn expensive. The parking, the food, the coffee, just everything. It was swiping my debit card, 50 bucks here, 50 bucks, 50 bucks. I spent several thousand on that short trip, but worth it, because time with my son, you know, restores some sanity to the part of my soul that needs to be a dad, that wants to be a dad, and feel like I never really got because of our divorce and everything, I never really got the full opportunity. It didn't play out quite like I had envisioned, but at least now from time to time I get a chance to attempt to contribute positive advice, to guide him to, he's 20, still living with his mom, doesn't really have a career or school situation figured out. So I feel the need to give him guidance, but I don't often get the opportunity to do it. So it was nice to do that and just be at the beach. And then I drove back. He went back to Irvine. I drove back to straight back out here to Bisbee. But this weekend, like I said, I went to Lowe's last night. I got a bunch of tongue and groove pine. I've got 3 sheets of plywood that is also going to be put up on the walls where the walls aren't going to be visible. Like, I have plans for a big long cabinet for my chop saw that will take up the majority of one wall. Well, I don't need expensive tongue and groove pine siding behind a bunch of cabinets that will never ever be seen. So I've got some cheap plywood that I'm going to put up where I think the cabinets are going to go. So I have a little mathing to do to figure out where and how much and how high on the wall. But then I'm going to continue with some insulation, tongue and groove pine, and just get that shop closer to done. I bought like 35 boards that'll get me probably most of the way done on 3 of the 4 walls. And then, you know, next payday I'll buy enough to finish off the 4th wall. And then theoretically I have to do the ceiling too, but it's not as pressing. A lot of other projects too. I've mentioned in a couple other videos that I really do have to start focusing on the main house. But again, emotionally and psychologically, I'm just not ready to play plumber and fix the floor and do all the things that I need to do on the main house. But my building permit deadline expiration come next May is looming large in my mind. I'm feeling a little pressure around that. So I will turn my attention to that soon. You know, one other thing I want to share, when I was out there, when I had a day to kill, I went to this really expensive mall, really high-end mall, had all the high-end stores, Cartier and Louis Vuitton and a whole bunch I'd never heard of, but just full of high-end stores, and they were packed with wealthy people buying Cartier jewelry and high-end watches, and the Rolex store was busy. Everything was busy. But I had time just to walk around that environment and observe it, and you know, we hear from the news and the mainstream media that people are struggling, and that's true. Many people are struggling. But there is a large segment of society that is not struggling, that is wealthy beyond belief, who are spending like there's no tomorrow, who don't feel the effects of inflation or job loss. It's really a bifurcated society where we have the haves and the have-nots. And it's funny, I fall somewhere right in the middle there. I am not poor. I do have some assets. I do have some investments. I should be in decent shape for my retirement. We'll see. But I don't have the level of wealth that they have, that's for sure. So mingling in that environment is interesting. And I went to the Crate and Barrel store, not to look at plates and crap, but I was looking at the couches and the chairs and the high-end furniture. You know, they sell these really cool sectionals that are like low to the ground, super like kickback chill sectionals that are high end, for me, expensive, anywhere from $5,000 to $10,000 for a couch, which is a lot of money. But you know, just being in those little settings where they have an expensive rug, an expensive sectional, some really nice you know, chairs around it to create like a conversation pit, I really liked seeing the possibilities, because my main house is a blank slate. It's just a big open space, and you know, it could have one feel if I furnish it cheaply. You walk in and it's functional and comfortable, but utilitarian and basic, and it could have a whole nother feel if I invest in some nice furniture and nice rugs. Stanley, of course, my dog, destroying everything is going to be a bit of a challenge there, but he's getting on in years. He won't be around forever either. So it just got my wheels spinning in my head about buying high-end furniture. Like, once Bitcoin does what I hope it does, I will be able to buy a few select pieces of high-end furniture that can really sort of make the room and make the space. And they do offer designer services, so for free. So I might actually, you know, do virtual consults. Whoops, kick the tripod. Do virtual design consults with Crate and Barrel or similar stores and pick out a few pieces of high-end furniture. Because when, you know, you put all this time and effort, I'm putting in time and effort on a piece of land and building a home and building a life out here in the middle of the desert. And the desert is harsh, man. It's a difficult place to be. Between the wind and the sun and the dust and the elements and the monsoon storms and the rattlesnakes, it's an environment that is aggressive, I guess, or hostile. Not hostile in an evil way, but it's just hostile, and you have to really defend yourself if you want comfort and some luxury in the desert. You're gonna have to put in the work and the money to create that environment, and I'm willing to do that, because I don't want to walk into the space and have it feel just bare bones. Like, I've been living in this tiny house behind me for 7 years, and it's bare bones. I've got all the basics, but I've got a tiny kitchen, I got a tiny bathroom, I'm using a camping toilet, it's not even a flushing toilet, so I have to manually empty the tank every week or two, which I don't mind doing. But after 7 years of that, well, for a while in Dallas I did have a flushing toilet, but out here for 3 years, no flushing toilet, dealing with sewage disposal. I want to leave that behind at some point. I want to enjoy the fruits of my labor. I want my career that I worked so hard at. Still waiting to see if I get a promotion and a raise come December. I'm hearing good feedback on that. It's looking hopeful, but we'll see. I want all that to pay dividends. I want to be able to relax out here and not be bare bones anymore. Not to have a tiny, be forced to live in a tiny house to save money because my budget is tight. I want to have a home that I can be proud of, that is comfortable, that has some luxurious aspects to it. Doesn't have to be, you know, top to bottom, look like $1 million home inside, but I just want my retreat. When I come out of the elements after a hard day's work, I want to be able to look at my space and feel good about it, feel proud about it, be super comfortable and inviting. And on those rare occasions when I have guests over, I want them to enjoy their time there. So the visit to Crate and Barrel and looking at high-end furniture and seeing some settings got the wheels starting to turn about design, because at some point soon I'm going to be past the stage of building, and then it's time, oh, I've got walls, oh, I have electricity and plumbing, now it's time to furnish the place. That is only about a year away, so I got plenty of time to do research and think about how I want my space to really look and feel. But you know, it was nice to do that. That's about it. I'm back in the work groove. Stanley was, you know, friends here in Bisbee looked after Stanley while I was gone. Thank you to them, Jim and Angela, for watching Stanley. But now it's like I never left. I'm right back in the groove, already feeling some work stress again, unfortunately. But holidays are coming up. I have another week off at Thanksgiving, and then select days here and there around Christmas and New Year. So there will be some downtime from work where I can work on my main house. Overall, I'm happy and healthy for the most part. I look in the mirror and I'm like, holy crap, I'm getting old, man. You know, aging's a bitch, and I'm aging fast. I mean, the difference between like age 50 and now 53, soon to be 54, things go downhill fast. It requires just psychological adjustment to not being the young, virile, attractive man that I feel like I used to be. I mean, not that some people don't find me attractive, but I don't find me attractive, and that's a tough pill to swallow. But life moves on, right? Okay, I think that's it. It's possible there'll be another segment, but don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, all the usual bullshit. Help me grow the channel a little bit. That would be nice. And more to come. Thanks. Love you. Bye.